Hey guys, Stormy Box Discussions here. Today we're going to be talking about Teen Titans. So I want to start off by saying that this video is going to be a two-parter, and depending on how I edit it, it might be one long-length video and one short-length video, but let's get started. Teen Titans was a very great show. It was a show that started very early in the 2000s and made it staple even to now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
People, hurry! The finale's up next, and we're on in 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't bother getting up, you're in my control. No way for you to fuss and fight. But my magic! How did you escape?
I'm Robin. We're the
Teen Titans. Rock on. It's cool to meet you guys. I'm Tara, and you're Cyborg, Raven, Starfire, and
Boy Beast. I mean, Bath Boot. No.
Beast Boy.
Maybe you should call me Beast Man from now on.
We're having a moment here. Don't ruin it.
BB Ray. One of the most important ships in Teen Titans, at least in my opinion. BB Ray was never seriously confirmed, but at least in my opinion, it stood a lot of grounds. Throughout the series, they show multiple cases of side love / friend love that the writers and voice actors have confirmed that they want in some way, shape, or form. In my opinion, BB Ray is probably one of the stronger ships in Teen Titans. It has a lot of information within the series that kind of alludes to a quote-unquote friend relationship, and it also kind of drives forward a new idea for relationships since there weren't many in Teen Titans for unknown reasons. It's kind of one of the more wanted ships, so I feel like this kind of staples itself. There's really no issues or problems with the relationship. However, most people really did underestimate the original relationship in the series' potential, at least in my opinion. In my opinion, BB Ray is not just a staple to the series, but it's also a staple in the grounds of the entire company per se. DC Comics obviously has shown BB Ray in many comics and has sent it to them, as I said, and Teen Titans Go and the original Teen Titans. It just makes sense for it to come back. In my opinion, it would probably happen within Season 6, if not a little bit after, depending on how they write it. And I think it's probably one of the most important staples within the Teen Titan fandom.
You're wasting your time.
Hello, I'm Karmew32. I'm a co-host of this channel. I'm the self-proclaimed #1 Saiyajin shipper on the internet. It's not that popular of a ship compared to, say, BB Ray or something, but I think, in my opinion, it's a really good ship. It had lots of potential, and I loved how it was teased, but I wish it had been explored further. Teased during Season 3, I mean, but I wish it had been explored further than that. But not only did they fail to explore it, the writers of Season 3, but they couldn't even leave Jinx's romantic fate open-ended. They introduced Kid Flash and Lightspeed basically just to ship him with Jinx, and I felt like really gutted as a result. I grew up with the series, and even back then, I felt gutted. So yeah, here's why I think it could happen. Well, I think it should happen, I mean, in the next season. If y'all might remember that moment in Deception when, Cyborg, they're in the classroom, and Brother Blood calls on Cyborg to answer the question, and he answers it correctly, and Jinx makes the hearty eyes at him. And there's also the part where they go to the dance together, or at least, well, we don't actually see them at the dance, but Cyborg mentions it to Robin while he's talking with Robin about, as he's getting immersed into that high school life. And then the Wavelength episode, which is considered by many to be like a Cy-B teasing episode. Personally, I don't see any romantic interactions between them. And in fact, if any romantic stuff gets mentioned, it's when Bumblebee mentions this, when Bumblebee was reading through the memory files of Cyborg, that he found out that that Cyborg had a crush on Jinx. So that confirms it was mutual. And in the Overdrive episode, there's a part where with all the photos, has Cyborg has all those photos. One of the photos is his Hive dance photo with Jinx. So we know that Cyborg at least cherished that memory. And there's also the tie-in comic, issue number 27, Love is a Battlefield. That's where Cyborg's with his comic girlfriend, Sarah Sims, but Sarah Sims never appeared in the show. And Jinx is jealous and envious. So that shows that Jinx had feelings for Cyborg even after the Hive, as by her bedside, it wasn't a picture of Stone. It was a picture of Cyborg in his proper form. So that shows that Jinx loves Cyborg, not just his form. And here's why I think should happen, why I prefer it to Flinks. Jinx didn't originate, it was spontaneous. Cyborg did not invade the Hive Academy solely to get with Jinx. He invaded it to find out what the Hive Academy is up to, as they had increased their raid output and were doing more raids than normal. He wanted to invade so that he could find out what was going on, and he just happened to fall in love with Jinx. In Lightspeed, on the other hand, Kid Flash singled out Jinx. He didn't care about the other Hive members at all. It was just Jinx, 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 and it just felt forced, and he kept following her around, and somehow she got with him. And not to mention that episode made the Hive seem completely incompetent and not caring about each other at all, but that's like this discussion for another day. Why I think it could happen, like there's the high feelings between each other, but also both of them could feel just have justified feelings for being ostracized. Cyborg with his robotic texts, and Jinx with her bad luck making her feel rejected. But honestly, I feel Jinx embraced being a villain. I don't really care what Lightspeed says. I feel like you never see Jinx being like, most of the time you see Jinx fighting, she's happy. She's happy to be doing it. I didn't feel like she was hiding anything. I really felt like she enjoyed doing it. And also, ideally, the best time for this to happen would have been season 3. You know, the Cyborg versus Brother Blood arc. That arc's considered by many to be lackluster, especially compared to the arcs of seasons 1, 2, and 4. And what makes that arc stand out in a bad way from the rest as well is how good the standalone episodes of season 3 are. See, season 3 has the likes as in terms of standalone episodes. It has The Beast Within, not Lightspeed. The Beast Within, Haunted, X, Spellbound, and that's just to name some. It has probably the best collection of standalone episodes of any season in Teen Titans, but the arc episodes leave a lot to be desired. Having Jinx play a major role in that arc could have really helped out the arc in general, given it another dimension. And they didn't even have to have her turn good. I mean, do you really think the Hive students wanted to be turned into cyborgs? That was Blood's final plot. You could easily have them revolt against that whilst having them still remain thieves. And we could have some of that in season 6 as well. Have Jinx, and by extension the rest of the Hive, remain. Like, they wouldn't be completely good, but, they would just be, vigilantes, if you might ask. And that's basically my thoughts on how it should go. Why it's a good ship. Because the origin isn't forced, unlike Flinks. And it shows some appreciation for Cyborg. Cyborg is a really underappreciated character. You know where he's ranked on fanfiction.net? Not 5th, 10th. Slade, Terra, Red X, Jinx, and Kid Flash all outdo him in terms of number of fics, in addition to the other 4 main Titans. Having Jinx be with Cyborg could do a lot to increase his popularity and finally give him the respect he deserves. And that's all I gotta say.
Howdy, everybody. My name is Nakle. I am one of the co-hosts for this segment, and today I'm going to theorize my theory of how Terra reappeared in the episode Things Change, the last episode of the series of Teen Titans. So, this is probably a very popular theory, and it has to do with something related to Trigon in the last season. Well, season 4, the final battle between Raven and Trigon. So when Raven defeated Trigon, she kind of resurrected everybody, and most people theorize that she also saved Terra. And nobody knows how she really went up, going to school, kind of forgetting about the Titans. Well, it's kind of just my theory. Well, most people's theories for that matter. No. Stormy, what do you think?
So, personally, I think after seeing the source material for the show and some of the Go comics, I guess, and theorizing on what I've seen from the writers and the voice actors' point of views in the past over people who have brought this theory to their eyes, I think it has a lot of weight to it. The only real thing that I never understood is I thought that that would only apply to people who needed to saving after that date, as being that if you remember, um, it happened prior to that fight. So would it save someone that was already theorized to be dead, or could it bring that person back as well?
I think like after that battle, because everyone, you have to realize everybody that was in Jump City, like all the civilians, they all turned into stone, right? And obviously Tara sacrificed herself and turned into stone as well. So that's why I think that it kind of saved her too. Probably broke herself free, or maybe Trigon could have, or sorry, not Trigon, Raven could have destroyed the statue as well, kind of saving her.
Do you think that there could be potentially more to that theory in terms of why maybe she has memory loss, or do you think that those two things are separate?
I think those two are separate. I think she fully understands and knows everything like she used to. She just plans on leaving that behind and going through with her life, getting past that, looking more into the future.
So how do you explain her turning to stone, as we saw in that fight against to save the tower? How do you explain her turning to stone and her being still alive after what we presume to be that time frame?
I think personally she was just stuck inside the stone. I mean, I don't think she fully died. Like, what I mean by fully died is like you only get one chance and that's it. But then this sacrifice, it just looks like she could still be alive inside the stone. So it's kind of like still a second chance, if that makes sense.
Interesting. So you think there's potential that it could be a Medusa situation, where the stone user who gets turned to stone is just inanimately trapped inside of the stone, and there's no other cause?
With Terra, yes, I do think that.
Interesting. Okay. Are there any things you want to add to that theory?
No, I think that just fully comes to my theory
Okay.
of what happened to Terra.
Alright.
What's up, guys? My name is YG, and I'm a co-host on the channel if you didn't know. And today we're gonna be talking about the Jason Todd Red X theory. Now, this is a very common theory if you're on the Titans Reddit, maybe. We talk about how Jason Todd could be Red X by talking about this. We need to discuss the original plot. So Robin pretended to be a made-up character named Red X and never used a suit again. The suit went missing because someone took him, possibly. Because of the similar fighting style and mild detective skills, Jason Todd could be a likely subject. The fact that Red X calls Robin kid is kind of against this, but it also could be an insult because we all know that Batman calls his sidekicks kids sometimes because he's like their father figure. So this could be a hint, really, to something coming up next with Jason Todd if they ever make a season 6. That is. At the same time, it may be noted that Jason Todd could have became Red X to prove a point that his Red Hood idea, which is his resurrection idea and get revenge on Batman idea, is possible. Oh yeah, but it's never explained how he would have got the suit or how anybody would have got the Red X suit. But in my opinion, somebody stole it. And Jason Todd could have been the most likely to steal it because he has Batman's escape maneuvers. When Batman was getting swarmed by the police, Batman always uses grappling hooks and his smoke bombs. That could be a technique to show Jason Todd and Dick Grayson.
Zibby's Pizza. Cheesy goodness delivered to you in 30 minutes.